I know from personal experience that moving abroad can be very challenging. Did I make a bunch of mistakes? Of course I did. So let me tell you about them so that you don't make the same mistakes as well. Some background information for context. I moved to the UK from South Africa back in December 2019, so I've been in the UK for just over 2 years now, and I'm currently living in Scotland. One of the first challenges of moving abroad is getting all of your stuff over there, and this is where I already made my first mistake. One of the first mistakes I made was not fully understanding the terms of the things that I was shipping over from South Africa to the UK. When you move abroad, everything is probably not going to fit in the luggage that you're taking on the plane, so you might have to look into other shipping options. A very popular option is to use a container that is shipped on a boat. If you use a container, you can choose between a private or a shared container. We didn't have enough stuff for a private container, so we chose a shared container, which is a lot cheaper than using a private container. But there's a lot less flexibility when it comes to the shipment and delivery date. Because it is a shared container, there's obviously space for other people to also ship things. So you just have to wait until the container is full enough so that it can be shipped. So they can't give you any idea in advance when that will be. I was aware of this, but I didn't know that that meant that you also couldn't choose when the shipment is delivered to your house. I at least thought I would have an option or some say in what time or day, but you don't have any choice, and if you're not available at that specific time and day, they just tell you that unfortunately they'll just have to keep it at the warehouse for an undetermined amount of time, and they'll have to wait until they have enough other deliveries to make in your area. The shipping company told me that this could take months, and you would also have to pay additional costs for storage at the warehouse. Because I felt like the delivery terms were not made clear to me, I managed to eventually arrange for a new delivery date. But if you are looking into the option of using a shared container, just be aware of the fact that you'll have to be very flexible with your delivery and shipment dates. So there's all this drama around shipping your things. So is it worth it, or should you just sell everything? In my opinion, definitely not. My argument was that obviously if you have less things, then the shipping will be cheaper. But that was before I realized how expensive it would be to repurchase everything that I sold in South Africa. I lived by myself before moving to the UK, so I had everything you needed for a flat. 2 years on, and I still haven't replaced some of those items. Moving abroad and starting a life somewhere else has a lot of expenses that come with it, and redecorating or furnishing the house is not always the thing that comes up as the first priority. So if you have the option to bring all your furniture with you, I would definitely recommend that, because it's gonna save you a lot of money in the long run. Because I had to buy a lot of things again, I also made the mistake of just shopping at all the popular expensive stores. When I first arrived, I went straight over to John Lewis and had a heart attack because I thought we wouldn't be able to afford anything in the UK, because I thought that was the standard prices for all homeware stores. I then proceeded to buy all these overpriced things, even though I would probably have been able to get it a lot cheaper at stores like B&M, Dunelm, Home Sense, or Wayfair is a good one for online shopping. But of course, because I wasn't familiar with any stores in the UK, it took me a while to actually realize this. And this isn't just for homeware stores, it's also for food stores, clothing stores. So don't be like me and blindly just go to the shops. Do some research beforehand and figure out what the best places are to go. This next one is more of a personal preference, so maybe not a mistake for everyone, but I felt like it was the wrong decision to live outside of the city centre when I first moved over to the UK. Now, of course, living in the city is going to be a lot more expensive. The space that you get will be a lot less. Living in the city, I think you get used to the new lifestyle a lot quicker, so you adapt a lot quicker. You feel more familiar with everything around you, where living outside of the city center, I felt a lot more isolated. And because it's more of an effort to actually go out into the town or city, you do sometimes use that as an excuse and you spend a lot of time just at home, which is fine if that is what you prefer. Personally, moving abroad, I want to explore and experience my new surroundings. So if you're living in the city, less space, so you're more encouraged to actually go out and explore, and it's super convenient being so close to everything. The last mistake I made was not saving enough before moving. And that's not for lack of trying. On the one hand, I think there will always be financial stress when you move abroad, except if you're a millionaire and you don't have to worry about money at all. Even though we saved up a lot before moving, our currency in South Africa is just a lot weaker compared to the pound, so it felt like our money was just suddenly worth nothing. And as I mentioned before, there's a lot of expenses with moving abroad. And at the same time, you obviously want to do new things, explore the new country. So there's a lot of things that you are spending your money on. We were fortunate enough to both have full-time jobs as soon as we arrived in the UK, so financially that made a really big difference. But I would recommend to anyone that's moving abroad to try and save up at least 3 months of your salary before moving, just so you have that safety net in case you don't immediately have income when you arrive in the new country, or maybe you end up not enjoying your first job as much as you thought, so that you don't have to feel trapped in a situation for financial reasons. Those were all the mistakes that I wanted to share with you today. I hope they were useful to you in some way. It's definitely still a learning process for me living in a new country, and there are some days that I definitely still feel like a foreigner, but that's okay because I love experiencing everything new here. And to anyone else that's planning to move abroad, I wish you the best of luck. Let me know in the comments if you are moving anywhere. I would genuinely like to know. And if you enjoyed this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up down below to help support my channel. And if you want to see more of my other videos, please also remember to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and then I'll see you in a new video next week.